Hello everybody, this is Dennis Suguwa, and today we are going to see the launch of the Firefly Alpha FLTA006 for the message in the booster for the launch of the LM400 tech demo for Lockheed Martin. So let's go. I'm not going to waste too much time.
The launch conductor on the countdown now.
All right.
Report for top 1.
Go.
Fluids 1.
Go.
All
Structures.
right.
Go.
AVI.
Go.
Go.
FTS.
Go.
GC.
Go.
VC.
Go.
PMM.
Go.
LWO.
Go.
FISPO.
Go.
MIFCO.
Go.
OSM. ROC.
Go.
MA.
Go.
CE.
Go.
LD.
LD is go.
LDA.
LDA, clear to launch.
We are go for Flight 6.
Alright, so it looks like we are going and we are clear for the Flight 6 of this Firefly Alpha rocket. And you can see this is the view of the Vandenberg space for space. And it's pretty foggy as usual. Vandenberg is pretty foggy. And because you cannot see clearly, so this is how it actually looks like using the line art of
coming up on T-minus 19 minutes, that is exactly what you want to hear during the poll.
Yeah.
All of the lights going
So
green.
yeah, looks
now
like
things are going to start
that's
happening
good.
pretty quickly.
That's why you don't see
let's
why
talk a
I
little bit
want
about
to
more-
stream
Let's talk more about the parts of
immediately
Alpha.
because
Unfortunately, can't see
obviously
them on
that.
the screen right now, but I think we have some movie magic to share with
right.
you. What
This
makes
is
an
interesting.
Alpha?
You can see there.
Yeah, so Alpha is a two-stage Carolox rocket. And what that
Yeah.
is it's
So this is how it
RP1,
looks
which
like.
is basically just kerosene
On
and
this
liquid oxygen.
first
which is
stage, it
crash
has
fuel.
the
Right.
4 rocket
So
engines
this
for
rocket can
the
take about 1,000 kilograms to
re-
Leo, which is
river
low Earth
rocket
orbit,
engines, and then
it is the
on the
largest,
upper stage,
vehicle in
it's
its
using
small
the
lift class.
let's just say
So we're
vacuum
still a small
optimized,
vehicle,
basically a
but
modified
we are the
version of
largest
the
in
river
kind of the-
rocket
that
engines
small
called
vehicle class.
the
Right.
Yeah, and we can do this for
which
two
is called
reasons. One of
lightning.
them is our engines.
Okay, the nozzle
so
is
on
pretty
the screen
big.
there you can see the stage 1
Okay,
engines
and the reason
are
is why we
reavers.
need this bigger
There are
nozzle
4 of them on stage 1.
on the
You
second
could maybe
stage,
see
and
some
especially
TNC
if it's
wiggles here on
going
the
to
cameras.
if it's
So
already
there's 4
going to
reavers on
space,
stage
that
1, and there's one
because the
lightning engine on stage 2.
bigger
Now, these are
nozzle
all
there is
designed, built, and tested
probably optimized for the
in-house up at Prince's, our
space
manufacturing and testing
environment,
facility.
especially
It's like 30
when
minutes up the
there
road
is
here.
no
Yeah, it's like a
atmospheric.
half hour up the road. And these are all actually
Yeah,
Carolox
so this
cycle
is the view,
engines, which are
and especially
kind of a more
I can
simple
continue my stuff, especially
cycle of
when
engine compared
there
to
is
some other
no
stuff you might find out
atmospheric
there.
pressure
But
that
that's on
keeps
purpose.
the shape,
The point of making our
rocket clam
engines
shape
a tap-off
intact.
cycle
So, but
into
and
target
because
them to be as
because
simple
it
as
doesn't
possible is to target
keep it
better
intact while
reliability,
around the space with
manufacturability, you know,
almost
Right.
ease
little
of putting
to
this thing
no
together.
We talked about it
atmospheric
yesterday, not
pressure
trying to
there.
push the limits
So
of engineering or,
if the lab
physics or
will
anything like that.
go
You just
out,
want something that's
go
nice,
out,
repeatable,
gases
easy
will
to
just
manufacture,
go
lower
going
cost.
out
It's
Yep.
just going to do its job.
to whatever
Something that
direction.
will
Once it
ideally
will
work every
expand
single time.
infinitely
Excellent.
until it's just like okay,
And then, part 2 of why Alpha
until it feels
can-
like
can
okay,
be Alpha
this is what we
is,
want.
Alpha.
So
is my
that's
favorite
why
thing to talk
usually
about,
if you want the
is
highest
the carbon fiber
performance, you want the
composites
best
that
one.
make up the structure
You
of Alpha.
basically have
The main
these two
body.
strategies, if I
Yeah,
remember
the kind of
correctly.
skeletal
One of
structure
it
the
is that
rocket.
you
So
can
these carbon
extend the
fiber
nozzle,
composites are
you know,
super strong,
because you want to
super
capture
lightweight,
slightly
so you
a
can
little
lift
bit
more
more
payload
of the
at a
thrust
lower cost
and
because you're
also
not
efficiency
sacrificing
losses
all
out
this
of it.
extra
You
weight. I
can
think on
extend the
average
nozzles,
for
extend
our
it from
trade, we're
the
about 30 to
original
40% lighter
smaller
using
one,
carbon than if we were to use metal.
No kidding.
smaller one,
And on the screen there, you
optimized
can
for
see some of the
this
new
level.
equipment y'all
Basically,
have that are
nowadays it's
enabling
optimized
that
for
carbon fiber
the
layup.
usage.
Is that the right way to say
You
it?
just
yeah,
long
Is that
layup.
cool if I
up,
say it that way?
Yes,
or
do
you
sound
can
cool.
Nice.
also do the second
But
approach.
that's the AFP, the automated
which I've-
fiber placement machine.
I think
that
I
is
didn't
true.
cover
So we
this
bought the
before.
AFP,
Yeah, so this is how they
fairly
do.
recently. That's a lot of what
All
I've
of
been
this
doing
rocket is
helping
actually
online
the
that AFP
carbon
program for
fiber
structures.
build.
AFP
that-
stands for Automated Fiber Placement Machine.
Maybe I can try show you guys there.
AFPM, yeah, sorry,
It's
cheated
all
a
good.
little bit. But yeah, what's cool
Yeah,
about
I
Flight
agree.
6 for Alpha specifically is that we've started to incorporate AFP structures on the rocket. So our Stage 2 LOX tank, you can actually see it
You can
right
actually
there.
see it right there.
Yeah, that kind of white painted cylindrical section, that is our very first AFP flight tank that we have ever made at Firefly.
All right.
So very exciting stuff.
And actually flying today, like not, oh, we've made a bunch of test tanks and we have a pile of test tanks that is integrated on the top of the vehicle, ready to go to
It
space.
is right
Looks
there.
pretty interesting,
Yeah.
right?
So
I
AFP
can
is awesome.
show you because
I can
if
nerd
I
out about it.
if I remember correctly, before
It's so cool.
Firefly Alpha
And it's
gone
really cool to
bankrupt
watch
and then
too,
restructured
'cause I don't think
again,
you
they
really get a
actually
sense of scale from
already
the videos.
test this
This thing's huge.
type
Picture
of
the whole
rocket.
building.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's
type of,
really cool.
It's just like mesmerizing, sort of.
rocket
You just see
engine
the thing and it
that's
wraps and it
Yeah.
wraps and it just
It's a
like.
big rotisserie chicken,
that's
you
pretty
know, just
interesting.
spins the barrel around.
I
and
hope
it
I
can
didn't gonna have
go down
hiccup
this bit of
because
track.
that's
Yeah.
worse.
It's really cool.
I
And
don't
the
want to
arm
just
itself, it's like something that comes
like
straight
that
out of, like,
in
Tony
the
Stark's
stream. I don't
Porsche.
know.
It's
Nice.
awesome.
It's pretty annoying.
The whole point there
That's
is the
hours
automated
for me
machine. Sure,
to
you can
just
do it by
recover from
hand.
that
That's how
hiccup.
you originally were making the barrels. But the
Yes,
automated machine is more
very
precise.
stuck.
It can sort of repeat the same
So,
things over and over again as you ramp up that
oh
production cadence.
yeah,
Exactly, yeah. So AFP, at least for Alpha, can make production up to 9 times faster and 7 times
I
cheaper.
think
No kidding.
I
Yeah,
might,
so we're
I might
starting
be
to
able
really ramp up
press
into a
here.
production cadence.
Here.
We want our kind of artisan hand lay work to be done on the pieces that need it, and we can take some of the load off of our layup techs and have all the barrels and really big things just get made by AFP.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned yesterday, the AFP is a large machine that works in certain
Because
geometries and sizes, but there is still a need for hand layout.
I actually see
Folks
before.
actually making
They
more
actually
complicated
ever
structures
test
or
this
just
kind of
geometries that don't work with a
rocket.
big automated machine.
Yeah, very much so.
Nope.
And oh yeah, there you
Look
go.
at that.
Okay, that's the view.
So the vapors you see coming out the bottom of the engines there are the beginning of engine chill. You'll see those start to beef
So,
up.
what do you?
Beef
Get
up?
more dense.
Yeah.
They'll get more.
So I can show to you guys
liquidy,
how
I guess.
what's their
Liquid
concept
up.
back then
Less
before
liquid up.
before they can
Yeah, they'll be
see it.
less gaseous and a little
It's
bit more
like
kind
this.
of like proper.
Can you guys see
Yeah,
this?
they
Yeah.
look more like they're
Also,
not
second strategy
dripping.
that
It's like you can see
they
drops
actually
almost,
can
as
pursue
opposed to
back
just
then
gas coming
is
out
that
like
to
that.
make
Yeah, and I can explain that.
this kind of
maybe a
stuff,
little
you
bit
know,
here.
make
Should
this
I bring out the
aerospace
props?
engine.
We should.
This is
We
also
have a
another
couple minutes for the
alternative
props,
Yeah,
I
a couple
think.
minutes for the
where
props.
Yeah, let's do the props. Y'all
it's
keep
actually
watching the rocket
combining
here.
the how do I say
Blake and I-
combining
Part of the whole
carbon
the best world of both world of the
is testing them,
bell,
right? You need to
bell
make sure that the
rocket ship,
different layers have
rocket
adhered together.
engine
So we
nozzle,
once again have the
or
forbidden
another
ice
way
cream
to say
sandwich.
the lava
Brought
nozzle
back
with
ice cream
the
sandwich, the Oreo.
aerospike. Basically,
So
aerospike
yeah,
is just
kind of
let's
a
just say
quick
another
rundown
fancy
of
way
how
to say
some of our structures
something
work.
if you ever
Is
use
this
this
what's
on
called a
the
sandwich liner,
aviation
you know, fittingly enough.
stuff, you know,
On the
or
outer edges,
all of this
the kind of like the cookies
turbojet
sandwich, you have
stuff.
a bunch of layers and layers
Yeah,
and layers
something
of
like
carbon
that.
fiber. And
That's
your
basically it.
load
It's like
path. So
a
these two outer sheets carry
specific
all
for the
the load
rocket
that the barrel is
operations.
It's like the main
I mean,
structural
even I
support, I
like
guess you could say.
concept
Yeah,
back
that's
then
carrying everything.
before they
And then in
actually
the
changed
middle
it, but
sandwich
sadly
between the two
they gone
cookies
bankrupt
is
cream.
ice cream
a few
in
years
a foam core.
a
Yeah,
few
so
years
what
ago,
this does,
and then
it's two
restructure
more, very important.
and they just go with the conventional
One,
one.
it provides stiffness
I mean,
to the
I
structure
like
'cause
this
it kind
design
of makes
even
this whole
more.
thing act like an I-beam rather
Right.
than
You
just
know,
like a single
it
solid
will still,
structure.
even
And
though
also it provides
it's
thermal shielding
even
to
though
our
it still
propellants. So for
expands, but
something
it's
like
not like
cryogenic locks,
aggressively to
Ah.
very
expand.
important
Like
because
it still
you've
keeps
got
the
negative
shape
300
of
degree
that
Fahrenheit,
nozzles and
cryogenic
still
fluid
would be
inside the
kept.
tank, and
So
then you've got,
to
you know,
capture
70 degree,
that
whatever
kind of
degree.
Outdoor ambience
efficiency
will
and also
fog,
trust,
Vandenberg.
whatever left
Marine
that
layer.
technically they
So, yeah,
can
you wanna make
also
sure that, you know,
include
you're not just
extend a
instantly
little bit of
boiling off
the
all of your propellant. So
Right.
this helps with
of
that.
the
So
conical
it's both
shapes
structure
there.
and insulation in the.
A
I feel like
little bit like
need
the
to we need
pyramid,
to keep reminding people that is the
let's just
forbidden
say
ice
like
cream sandwich.
reverse
Please don't eat
You
this.
should not try to eat that. It's not a
reverse
thing.
pyramid.
Yeah.
Crunchy,
Yes, there.
spicy, your body's
Just
not gonna
attach
like
it
Do not.
here.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Okay,
But
and
yeah,
then just
and there's
able to capture it.
every once in a while there
as-
comes a point where you have to
as,
inspect all of your structures.
theoretically as
We do
simple
this
as
in a
that,
couple
but
ways. I've
yeah,
tapped on this thing
doing this kind of
before.
engineering is
Tap
pretty
testing is something
pretty
that's not just in the
complicated.
aerospace
This is how it
industry.
looks like
You can
back
find
then,
it, you know, when you're laying
before
tile.
they
You
restructured.
tap test to
So you
make
have a
sure.
hollow bit under the
I
tile that's
remember
going to
back
break
then
one day
when
when
I
you
see
come out of the
this, it's
shower
like-
or whatever.
If you hear
Wow.
that hollow thud, then there's a void
This is
underneath the
radical.
tile, and there's no mortar
Okay,
there.
don't
Right.
Same
design.
principle here. If you
please.
tap it and you hear a
Yeah.
thud, there's a void in your laminate.
Yeah,
and
you
there's
can
no
see this
resin
is how
flow.
You
it
don't get
looks
the
like.
nice clear tap noise. You feel it as
That's
well.
slightly
'cause it's a
different
Yes.
design,
piano
right?
wire, you said, right?
This is how the
this
Firefly
piano wire
Alpha
on the
looks like
handle,
back
so
then.
not only can you
before they
hear
go
if
to
you
more
have some kind of damage,
conventional
but you can
shape.
also kind of feel the resonance
This
back through the
one,
handle.
if you remember,
You can
this
kind of
one
like-
is
This is
Firefly
kind of a
Beta.
second
If
way
I
of-
remember
You hear
correctly.
it's like a
Basically,
tactile thing as well. I
Yeah,
guess,
basically
right?
just
is,
another way-
and tap
just like
testing
the
is
Firefly
really
Alpha,
important.
but
And
heavier version, and can lift even more to the orbit.
So that's what
So
it's
that's
supposed to
it.
sound like.
Sounds good.
It's supposed to sound super sharp and clear. If you were to kind of hear like a
Yeah,
zoom,
and also
That's
hello,
what it
hello
Right.
to the
this
viewers
is one
here.
of the ways
Welcome,
that
welcome.
we NDI our structures.
This is pretty
There's
interesting.
another way that we NDI our structures,
And all of
and
the
that is,
rocket engines
ultrasonic
on
testing.
the
Okay.
So
both
not
on
exactly one-to-one,
on the
but
first
kind
stage
of
and the
like
second
a
stage
pregnancy ultrasound.
actually
You take the
actually
goop,
consume
take
There's goop. There's
Carol.
actual goop.
There's
you know,
goop. We put
basically
goop
another
on the
way to
rocket,
say
and,
says
you
that
take your ultrasonic
it's
probe
a
little wand.
Yeah, you have a wand.
Okay.
And you,
how do I say?
you know, scan the structure. And what it's doing is it's sending
it
sound
consumes
waves from your probe into the
liquid
structure,
oxygen
and
as
it's
the
measuring the time it takes for those sound
as
waves
the
to
oxidizer
bounce off
breaks
something.
really cold, around minus
So you could
100
detect, you know, if it's going through your
Celsius,
structure
if I remember correctly.
and
Very,
you know,
very
hitting
cold.
the
But
foam
the
core
much
and
more
coming
colder
back, that's a
version
different
would be
time then if it would
even
go through your
way
structure,
colder than that,
hit a
then
void and
that
just
would
bond of
be
air,
liquid
and then
hydrogen.
come back.
Liquid hydrogen is
okay. So
around
you're sitting there, you have the
minus
goop, you have the wand, you're like scanning it, you're like,
250
congratulations, it's an alpha.
It's an alpha.
Celsius, if I remember
Launch
correctly.
It's a
rocket.
Carolina
Even
rocket.
more,
All
more
right, we are under
colder
12
than that.
minutes now, actually 10 and a half,
And
because
then
we like talking about
it
structures.
and
One day
it's
we're going to have to
also
bring some other structure
consume
testing stuff in here. People are going to be like, oh man, that's the
refined
tap thing again.
aerospace
Yeah.
or
But let's talk
RP1
really quickly
rocket
about
propellant one
what is going to happen, because things are going to
as
start
a
happening
fuel,
fast.
you know. And then when you combine this
so
together,
right now, so we're
it will,
under the last 12 minutes of launch.
ignite.
So we've been doing a bunch
I
of
mean,
commands
it's
and
not
health
going
checks
to
for
ignite
300.
right away.
Including
It still
we've been
needs
chilling
some
in our
igniter
stage
because
1
it's not a
engines. So kind of we talked
hypergolic
about like
stuff, not
kind of
hypergolic where
gaseous thing you see on
you
screen.
just combine
right
it
there.
together. It's
Slowly
just
getting
instantly,
more and more liquidy. That's us
just
pulling
instantly
cryo
going
fluid
to
through our box
combust,
pumps
just
to
like we
cool them
see
down
on the
to the temperatures that we need them
Vegas
to operate
C
at for flight.
rocket, where we see
So it's
the
just
upper
you don't
stage,
want to
the oven
surprise the
blast
temperature. You
literally
want it to
can
be a nice
ignite
thermal
itself without
gradient, I guess. You start
any
bringing
help
them
of
down
the
over
igniter,
time to
as
their
of the
operating temperature,
fuel
as
and
opposed to suddenly going
as of the
from normal
propellant
temperature
lines
to
doesn't have
cryo
any
temperature.
problem,
Yeah,
and
if you pull in that
it's used
300
according
degree,
to the fuel,
cryogenic fluid
according
onto
to
a like
the
70 degree,
propellant
you're going to flash the gas.
rate
It's
per
going
seconds
to lead to
needed to
cavitation and all that kind of
keep it
craziness.
ignited,
So we
and
want to stay away
that's
from that.
that.
So we've been doing that
So that's
since
basically how
T-minus
they do
about
it.
15 minutes.
Right.
And
They
all
need
of
some
this
time to
rocket,
crash out.
actually,
We've also done
maybe
some
even though you
ground-side
see
prep,
that this is
TBC,
kinda looks like
TBC wiggles.
a gas generator,
T-TEV,
but
spin start
I promise it's
verification,
not
Right.
100% gas
pre-press,
generator. This
stage
is
2 TBC
actually,
wiggles. There's just a
let's
whole
just say,
line
sort of like
things
the
that we go
variant of
through.
gas
We got all
generator,
sorts of
but
acronyms
not
we're going through here, but at
100%
less than
really
10
for
minutes
like
to launch, we better
gas
keep
generator.
pressing ahead.
It's more like
Fuel
the
pre-press is a thing that
type
is
of
going to
combustion
start
cycle,
happening in about a
type
minute.
of
And
stage
we'll get some more
combustion
TVC, the
cycle
thrust
there,
vector control wiggles, just making
which
sure
I
everything is
can
moving
try
the way
show
it
you.
should move. At some point, we'll transition to
I
internal
will
power
research here.
as well,
Yeah.
sort of unplugging the rocket from the ground, making sure that it's all healthy on its internal power, I guess not generation, batteries really,
Yeah.
Okay.
so that it's ready to go. And then we're going to see some larger things on screen, right?
Yes.
Like right there.
Yeah, so you'll start to see
So
that
that's
strong
gonna
back
be
pull back. Well, first the collar arms will open.
Oh,
Right.
The strong back
combustion
doesn't pull back when the
tab
collar arms
off
are closed.
stage
Those are on the
cycle.
top. Oh, it's like right over here
Ah.
on
Yes.
the side.
Yes, so you can see them in that shot. Kind of those little cylindrical looking things that are
The claw pinchers.
holding, the
Crab.
crab pinchers that
Yeah.
are holding on to that stage 2 LOX tank. Those will kind of separate and get wide, and then the whole tail will kind
Then
of pull back.
I
Out of the way of the flames of liftoff.
Yes, out of
Right.
the way of the flames of
Okay,
liftoff.
also from the
Not only
okay,
that, but
looks
in the
like
last
even
couple
every
minutes
day
before
as
flight,
well,
we'll
actually
actually
has
arm
the
our FTS, our flight termination system.
Yep.
Standard safety thing for all
just
launch
the
vehicles.
diagram
And then we'll start our fuel bleed at T-minus
explain
3
how
minutes, and then
it
we'll
actually
be
looks.
pretty much
Okay.
ready to go.
Pretty much ready
And
to
this
go.
is the type
And now
of
that we are coming up
stage
on 8
combustion
minutes to
cycle.
launch, let's talk about what
As you can
happens
see,
after liftoff. Or I guess starting 2
the first thing
seconds
first,
before liftoff.
before
Yes,
they're
you're
able
exactly
to
right.
properly
So
move
at T-minus 2
all of that
seconds,
propellant
the, stage
to
1
the
ignition.
to the
So those
combustion
four
cycle,
rears
what they
will
need to
light,
do is that first,
and we do this at T-minus 2
it's either
for
fuel
two
or the
reasons. We do it
oxidizer
to allow those
will move,
engines to get up to their full nominal power. And we do this to make sure that if there is something that we need to worry about, we catch it
combustion
before
chamber
we
to
let
cool
the
it down,
rocket go.
Right.
and then
So we do that
at the same
T-minus
time
2 seconds,
also
we'll see
the
ignition.
fuel
At
and the
T-minus 0, that
oxidizer
is
will
when
move
we release clamps and
will
Alpha
move
is allowed to lift off from the pad.
first to the
We'll be
pre-burner
flying for
cycle.
about 56
Okay, the
seconds until
pre-burner,
we go
and those
supersonic, and then
pre-burner
we'll hit something
will
called max
actually
Q at T
move
plus 1
this
minute and
turbine.
6 seconds.
It
It's
could be
maximum
either
dynamic pressure.
oxidizer
Right.
or fuel, or
I
it
could
could be
ramble about max
both.
Q, but I've done it
And then
before.
some
If
of
you want the
these
full explanation on
some
Max Q,
of
go to the
this
stream from
pre-burner cycle
yesterday where
will
we had a
also
lot of
go
time to
into the
talk.
combustion
Yes,
chamber, which will
as the structures person, I can ramble your ear
which
off
will be
about
expelled
why
out
max Q is important. I'm not going to do it right now.
launch the
But yeah,
original
at T
fuel
plus
and
2 minutes and
oxidizer,
33
and some of
seconds,
it
so a little over a
on the
minute after max Q, we'll have
on the
Nico,
pre-burner
which is our
cycle also
nominal main
will
engine cutoff.
will be
And then
going
things
out
start to happen really quickly
through the
back to back.
exhaust, which
You'll
is
have
why you
Nico, and then you'll have nominal
kinda
stage
look like
separation right
gas
after
generator,
that.
but
Right.
not
Your
really.
first stage has kind of done its job getting
And
you
then
out of Earth's atmosphere.
and then
Atmosphere,
all of
up
this will
away
be
from the
burned
planet.
Up and
inside
away.
the combustion,
Yeah, and so
and then
we don't need
some
it
of it
anymore.
will
The
be
fuel's
expelled
spent.
out
We don't need
to
that
the
mass.
exhaust,
No need to
and
carry
to
it.
increase
Don't
the
need to carry it with
efficiency,
us. It's done its
technically they
job.
could
So
they could
separate,
also design
and then we'll
it
actually
so
have our stage 2
it has
lightning
nozzle
engine
there,
ignite,
and they are
and you'll
able
see
to
stage 2 kind of
extract
start to pull
a
away from
little
falling
bit
back
of
to stage 1.
Right.
thrust and also
And then
efficiency
same thing
needed
with the
to
fairings. We'll have
it,
nominal fairing jettison at T plus like
move move the rocket.
3 minutes.
I mean, technically, it
And
also
what that
can work
is the
burning if they
fairings
want to,
have protected the payload with their ECS
you know, and
throughout,
and all
All
of
the way
this,
from the building.
rest of
yeah,
it
all the way
that
from the building
survive,
to the
the
pad while it's
preburner
sitting out there, you know, burn on
oxidizing
the
fuel
pad
burn
through the
together
atmosphere.
inside the combustion
It's not
chamber,
needed anymore. There's
which is a
nothing
pretty
really in
low,
space that can harm the payloads, so we
low
jettison
pressure
those things
inside,
that,
but
you know,
very,
that
very
mass
hot.
Don't need to carry them. That's a big part of
Around
being
the
a rocket is don't carry mass that you
the
don't need.
temperature is
That's why
around
you do the carbon composite structures.
around
That's how
the
you can have more room for
around the
propellant and payload.
sun
But
surface
shedding
pretty
things
hot,
that have done their
and then
job
when
that you
it
don't need to
expels
carry
out,
with you anymore is an
no, no,
entire thing
the
with rockets.
Yeah,
combustion
mass can be
chamber
very
inside
expensive, so you want to cut it
the
pretty
pressure
thin.
is pretty high, and it's pretty
So
and
after we have fairing jettison, remember that
and
lightning engine is
the
still going, so we'll
and it
fire
and
until
even
T
the
plus 8 minutes 28 seconds.
temperature is also
Right.
pretty high around
And
around
then
the
from there, we will just kind of
around the
coast
surface of
until
sun
our nominal
temperature,
like, payload
and then when it's
deploy
cold out,
area,
Yep.
the
trajectory. And
the
we
pressure
will
would
actually
be
have a
pretty
planned
low,
comms
but
blackout
pretty
during
fast.
that time.
At the
So
same time,
after
all of
Seco,
it would around
there goes the strong back.
The clamps have
kilometers per
opened,
second.
and the strong back is
Okay,
retracting. We did
and
not see that yesterday.
and after
We
that,
did see that yesterday.
the temperature would
And
be
it's good to see. Yeah, you see those umbilicals kind of pulling tight. They will nominally
the
separate from
temperature
the
of
vehicle
this
when we start to lift off.
of the sun
Gotcha.
circle.
Quick disconnect.
So that's
Quick
how it
disconnects. They need to disconnect quickly when it's time for the rocket
Okay.
to take off.
Exactly.
Strong
We've
back
just crossed
release.
T minus 5 minutes here. Let's talk a
So
little bit
this
about
is
our
how it
plan
looks
for
like.
coverage. Today we have an expected
Okay,
communications
so
blackout.
this is how it looks
Given
like
the way the
visually.
geography
So
and the
you are
installation of the
able to
ground
see
stations
how
work.
it
The
works.
rocket doesn't
It has
magically
the
teleport its
backfill
information
pressure
back to
gas.
mission
Gas
control. It
it's
requires
using
antennas on the
helium
ground.
Yeah.
And as it
of
goes
the
around the
oxygen
planet,
and
it
fuel.
goes in and out of
First,
range of different ground station antennas.
of
So
the
here we do have that
it will burst to
anticipated
the
comms blackout that starts
three
around
burner.
9 minutes
Go
after
here.
liftoff. And that's going to
Okay.
actually continue up until T plus 35 minutes.
And
Now,
then
even though we don't
some
have
of it will
live
be expelled
telemetry
out,
coming
but some
down
of
from the
it
rocket, since it
will
doesn't
be
have a ground
released
station
to
to
the
talk to,
main
the
combustion
rocket is
chamber
still recording
and
everything that's going on.
fuel
But
and
in that
oxidized
period,
tank
we expect
because
the
it's
payload
because
deployment to
it's
happen.
able to move
And after
pretty
after
quickly
we
with
get
the
back in range of
turbine.
the ground
Now
station,
it's able
we'll
to go
downlink all
below
that information.
the combustion
first
site,
thing that we downlink is going
combustion
to be
chamber,
the
going
data telemetry,
there,
like the
going
bits
out through
that
the
come down
to
describing
the
the
nozzle
health of the
throat and
vehicle
then
and exactly what happened.
out from the
And then a video
nozzle. So
payload
that's
will
how
come
it
down, the recording
looks
of
like.
that payload
So
deployment.
this is
But because we're
credit
not
to
going to
the
get that until T plus
everyday
95
astronaut and
minutes,
also
specifically the video,
Yeah.
is an hour and a
NASA
half
Space
after
Flight
launch,
Forum for
we don't plan to
providing
stay
this
live the entire time today. We are going to intentionally
Okay,
stop the
and looks like
broadcast.
we are in
A little bit
minus
extra
3
secret
minutes
there
and
just because we're going to run out of things to show
37
you,
seconds.
except for Morgan and
So
me.
this is how it looks
Don't
like
let me talk about
right now in
secrets too
the
long.
launch site.
Spill some secret sauce on
And also
accident.
thank you to Space Affairs
All
for
right. So
for
I
hosting
think we're down to
for
3.5 minutes, and we are going to rapidly start
hosting the
coming up
NASA
on
Space
the
Flight
next
flight.
go no go poll here,
live
the
stream,
sort of
because
final go no go
otherwise
poll.
if I
aren't we?
use
Yep,
their
you'll
original
only be
stuff,
hearing 3
they are
go, no
using
goes.
60
Right.
frames
Yeah,
per
so it's
second
kind of
and
the
it's
last
going
peak
to
before we start
annihilate
to really get ready for launch.
Okay.
annihilate
I don't know
the
if it's cleared up a little
big
bit here.
So I don't want to
But,
take
we
risk
do
of it,
see
so rather just
the
keep it
rocket
here using the
silhouetted
Space
on the
Affairs.
pad. You can see the
Okay,
strong
T
back
minus
is
3
retracted
minutes
a
in.
little bit.
Okay,
And we're
this
going
is
to
final
come
check.
in to listen
Launch
Chief
director.
engineer. Send it.
to the final commit.
Launch director.
Launch directors go.
Okay, go.
Lock.
Launch operations
Director
commander
launch.
is go, and also chief engineer also says go. Everyone says go, and
There you go.
ignition.
All right, now
unanimously
2 minutes
agree
and 40
with
seconds
that, and
away
now
from
fully
launch.
committed to the flight.
Final commit,
And
everything
also to the
green. Once again, just
new
bang,
and
bang,
returning
bang, right
viewers,
down the
hello, hello,
list.
and welcome. We are going to witness the launch of the Firefly Alpha rocket that
Yeah, that's about
will be
as
the
nominal
sixth
as
mission,
you
the
It's about as nominal as you can hope for.
FLTA006 mission,
Excellent, folks.
messaging
Here's the
booster
plan.
that will
Remember,
carry the
we are going to show
LM400
you all the views that we have.
tech
We
demos
have some tracking
satellites
cameras.
for
It may be tough
for
on the
Lockheed
liftoff.
Martin,
This is really
basically
gonna
to
bloom when
demonstrate
this
to
thing
the
takes off.
especially
But
to
for
the
now, we're going
government,
to
to
let
the
you listen
defense sector
in to the
that
sounds
yes,
of the pad.
our
The pad and the
satellites
rocket are really going to
good
come
and
alive here.
whatnot.
Everything
So that's
trending
why
go.
they
We've heard a
actually
bunch
want
of
to
goes, and
launch
they've just
it.
been going
And also
right
this is
down
sort
the
of like the
list as
final
we cross T minus 2 minutes away.
verification test
That
for
means
the
that we
satellites
are
to
ready to
show
launch.
not only it
Message
can
in
be
a
built
booster. This
fast,
is
but
flight
at the same
6
time
of
it's pretty
Firefly's
reliable.
Alpha rocket.
So
At
we
a
are going
very
soon.
foggy Vandenberg Space
And
Force
I
Base
believe
this
maybe
morning.
we are able
Let's go
to
ahead
see
and listen
it up
into the
until
pad, and we will check
T
back
plus
in with you
almost
after
T plus
liftoff.
20 minutes. So let's go. And I will also going to commit using the ILS style countdown and call out. so that's that. Some legend stuff here. And yeah. Oh, the sound. And if you see here, this is actually the engine chill down. Basically, another way to say is to cool down the rocket engines to the safest operating temperature, because you need to know it's pretty hot when it tries to burn. and you don't. And the last thing you want to do is to melt the rocket engine. So that's why they have to chill it down, cool it down, like a refrigerator, you know. So you can, so it's still able to operate. And that's it. As you can see, this is the NASA space flight stream, okay, and basically Firefly Aerospace commissioned them to stream stuff. So we are going to go for the countdown, T-minus 30 seconds.
Vehicles in autonomous mode.
Okay, right now the autonomous mode fully computer inside the Firefly Alpha has already fully gone into automatic modes, and right now in T-minus 15 seconds. And this is Firefly mission control at T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition of all 4 River rocket engines and launch capabilities and liftoff from the Vandenberg Space Force base from the SLC 2W, basically 2 West, like 2 West launch pad, and here we go. And looks like because of the foggy area, and we are now switching to the, okay, there's also the color mode and also the infrared mode. So here we go, we have liftoff on the launches, and looking pretty beautiful on the visual side. Not really 100% beautiful if you don't like the black and white colors, but here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Oops. Okay, T plus 53 seconds into liftoff and preparing for the Mach 1, the supersonic. Okay, looks like supersonic. Okay, vehicle is now supersonic, already break the sound barrier and coming up for the max Q. Okay, max Q, maximum aerodynamic pressure fully exerted on the launch vehicle, and then after the max Q, the rocket engine can now safely ramp up back to 100%. 100%, and usually before the max Q, it will be tuned down to 80% or lower, depending on the capabilities of the rocket engines. But looks like it's pretty good. Okay, and the flames also looking pretty good and pretty nominal. And don't mind with the stage 1 telemetry there, slight delays can be seen. And looks like we are ready for the MECO main engine cut off with the stage separation,
really
which will separate
there.
the first stage booster from the second stage and also the payload. And after that, second engine stage ignition number 1 will ignite and will carry it to the orbit. We'll see.
The way that comes back together, it's literally the exhaust gases bouncing
all
off
of
the
these
atmospheric
4
pressure
River
and then
rocket
coming back
engines,
together.
Carolux rocket engines, looks pretty good and operating in the nominal situation right now. And you can see the exhaust. It's expanding and expanding as time goes by. That's why after some points you need this bigger nozzle, which is why
2.5
we have
minutes
this
after liftoff.
vacuum optimized on the Lightning
Coming up on
rocket engine.
MECO.
Okay, stage separation. Okay,
Stage 2 ignition.
okay.
Chamber pressure looks nominal.
All right, second stage ignition. I hope this is good. Looks like we have a little bit swivel there. I don't know, maybe, but for me it looks like we have a bit anomaly there. Oh no, but whatever happens.
Separation.
All right,
From
and
the vehicle here.
payload framing has already separated.
You can see the fairings.
Okay, looks like the rocket has already finally able to stabilize itself. It's able to fight back that strong
But now we're
separation.
into that
Wow.
longer second stage burn.
It's pretty dramatic there. I thought this rocket
going around
the
Earth.
will be failing, but it turns out it's able to gain control again. Okay.
And there is that aft-facing
so
view.
this is a
In
surprise.
the background
There
where the
is
rocket
no
just took off from.
Longer nozzle
Here you
here.
can see the booster
They
is
didn't
no
use longer
longer
nozzle, so-
behind the rocket.
So basically
don't think
this
we
is
can see it in this shot. I
Lightning
suddenly wonder if that
rocket
little dot
engine.
up there is it. This is the second
specifically
stage, looking backwards
optimized
at
for
the
the
engine on the second
specifically
stage.
optimized for the vacuum, but they just cut out that
So some of the
longer
triggers are
nozzle
having a
there.
little difficulty
Because why?
keeping it in
Because
frame
they
there.
don't need that extra capabilities. They don't need that extra thrust, extra efficiency. They're just like, okay, we are just going to the low Earth orbit, so why even bother using the longer nozzle? So
It's
wow,
really interesting how clear
That-
the exhaust is here.
that's a pretty surprise for me for today. Didn't expect that. Wow, I'm surprised. And you know what? When it separated, I thought this rocket might even lose control, but no, they able to the
But once
the second
again,
stage
going
able
to
to
stay
regain
with it.
control
We
again.
are going to come
Wow.
up on an expected comms blackout. We're going to try to share with you the views here from the vehicle
Wow,
as
a
long
bit
as
unexpected
we
there.
have them. The comms blackout is expected, but it's also a little
T plus
estimated.
5 minutes into
So
flight.
if the feed cuts out a few seconds before
Yeah,
the exact
just in case
timing
you want to
that
know,
we were
we
talking
have
through,
liftoff for the
that
Firefly
might be
Alpha
nominal.
Yeah.
rocket carrying
How you
the
doing, Nolan?
LM400 tech demo
I'm
satellite
doing great.
for Lockheed Martin.
Sorry, I'm being handed things.
And Firefly Aerospace is
Focus
the
on one
launch
thing at a time.
provider for
Yeah, I'm
for
doing
this one,
great.
of course. And as you can see, this
That was
is
a beautiful launch.
how it looks like, and there is
And
some.
I just love watching these camera views.
Yeah.
I suppose
It was a little tough
also
there with the
a little
marine
bit like
layer. We had a lot
RCS,
of
the
bloom on
reaction
the
control
ground.
system. There
A little
also
tough to
might
see
be
the rocket
SCS,
lifting off. I love that we
amplitude
kicked it off
control
with the
system, and
engine
also
shot.
some
Kept it with
thruster,
the
you know.
engine shot as they sort
But
of
let's just say,
exited that
just for
blast
simplification,
camera
let's
down
just
in
say
the
it's a
trench
thruster.
itself, I guess right
Okay.
under the engines.
Because thruster is basically the
But
lower
Lightning
powered
and
version
Stage
of the
2 continuing
typical
on
uh,
with the propulsion
rocket
here.
engines, you know. So we're going to call it thruster anyways.
Yeah, again,
from
we're
now
expecting to burn this
for
engine
simplicity.
until T plus 8 minutes and 28 seconds.
Right.
And
That's when
looks
we
like
expect sequence.
So another
the flight right now is
2.5
T plus
minutes
6
roughly
minutes
on start.
into
Yeah.
And
into
again,
liftoff.
here, this
Looks like
phase
it's
of
pretty good.
flight is all about gaining velocity around the planet, right? First stage got us up out of the atmosphere. It got us sort of away
and
from the
even
ground a little bit.
and
And here we're
even the
basically
dead end
flying
time is
sideways.
not
See this
even
question a lot,
accurate.
like, oh, why did the rocket turn sideways?
31st December
And then looked like,
1969.
from my
What
perspective,
is
it was
this?
going back down to the water. Well, the Earth is
The
round.
Apollo,
It was going around the Earth
Apollo
over
11
the
era.
horizon.
Come
That's
on.
exactly what the Lightning engine is doing here, pushing that
I didn't
stage.
know this is
And the
how
payload,
clear
like this. Look,
the
we got both
1969
cameras
Oh,
looks
nice.
like.
on
I mean,
around
the
the planet.
Film grade quality,
Yeah, orbit is basically
35
just
millimeters, I guess,
falling constantly and just
or 25,
missing.
15
Missing,
millimeters. I don't know. That's how it looks like. Pretty amazingly interesting, you know.
Coming up
And-
on T plus 7 minutes.
Okay.
We're
Ready?
also listening into mission control now, so if any callouts come from mission control, you will get them directly from there.
All right. T plus 7 minutes into liftoff since the liftoff of the Firefly Alpha. Right now, still carrying the LM400 tech demo satellite for Lockheed Martin, which they will
That
demonstrate
really is just a cool shot.
the
You can see, you can even
That's
see,
like
like, it's
stuff
headed south.
for the
And the
government.
sun was
for
rising. To the, like if you were on the
the-
rocket,
for
the
the
west would have been
defense
the left-hand
sector
side of the
and
rocket. And there
also-
you can see
and also maybe
the Earth
for
a little
some
bit illuminated there, and then a
prospective
little bit darker
commercial
on the right-hand side.
You can see the
customer.
sun reflecting off of
So
the rocket
let's
itself.
go.
Yep.
And after that, we'll see.
About 7.5 minutes, and
maybe
coming up in
for
just
my-
about a minute, we're expecting that SECO second
Alright.
engine cutoff.
Yeah, but considering it's a bit
Again, we may not
Un-
have views all the way up to that. We will see. We're going to share the views with you as long as we have them.
yeah, but
let's
considering
see here in about
some
another 30
instability
seconds
on the second stage, I believe the burn might last
whether
a
we
little
get
bit
those views the entire
way
time.
longer
And then remember, the payload
to
deploy
probably to
is
go to
not
the orbit.
expected to be seen live
Because otherwise
here.
it's
The
just
payload
going to
deploy isn't
space
happening
and we enter
until
back
a
to
while after
the-
SECO.
Yes.
Uh,
So SECO
we enter
happens
back to
again in
the
about
atmosphere.
8.5 minutes.
That's the last thing
coming
you
up
want.
here in a couple
You want
seconds.
as the
And then
customer
we'll
of these
see,
launches,
our
okay?
planned comms
It's
blackout
not
a little after
cheap.
9 minutes.
It's
Payload deploy,
hundreds
payload deploy will happen
of
somewhere
millions
around
of dollars.
12.
Really
Right.
expensive. Because otherwise they have to be reimbursed with insurance, I guess, at this point. And yes, even in this
Watch the
space,
flicker of the second
also-
stage engine there.
there's also insurance involved. Okay, and
And had the
all right,
SECO call
SECO,
out
second engine cut
from
off.
mission control, and you could also see the engine shut down.
All right, and this is a bit barbecue, barbecue. Let's just say blue move there. to ensure the payload and also the rockets cool down and whatnot.
And rapidly approaching that expected LOS, like we talked about before.
All right,
liftoff.
LOS, loss of signal. But
Back in
either
mission
way,
control,
we'll
you
see.
can see everyone
Maybe we
focused
are
on their
lucky or not.
consoles. I think the
We'll
call
see.
out was assessing data.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially because the
when I run tests and
second
things, I wish I
stage
have more than 3 monitors.
interstage separation,
I
the
usually see a bunch of
second
flags
stage
for
is
people having
just
3 monitors in the
Right.
control room, but you're actually
it's
looking at a
pretty
lot of data at once.
Right.
You've
that's
got
pretty scary.
GUI
So
on one,
I
you've
hope
got
it's
you
going
know, all your
unscathed.
plots on
Pretty
another, you've
fine.
got cameras on another,
Yeesh.
and then sometimes I want a
pretty-
fourth for another
Pretty scary. Yeah.
another monitor full of data because there's just so much to look at one time.
Right.
So looks like it. And hello, new and returning viewers, welcome. We just
Now coming up
witnessed
on
the
T
launch
plus
of the
10 minutes.
of the Firefly
We're
Alpha
going to have
rocket.
some replays for you coming
carrying
up
the
here of the
LM400
liftoff cameras we didn't
satellites.
show live.
And now at T plus 10 minutes since the
And
liftoff
also
of
we'll
the
talk how you can
from
keep
the
up to
Vandenberg
date
Space
with
Force
the mission
base,
status
click
here.
to west or SLC-2W. Basically it.
So now's the time when we
Okay.
can ask, if you were out at home, did you step outside during liftoff, and were you able to see that? If you're over there in LA
Yeah, I
or
hope
San
you guys
Diego,
are,
over
if you
in
are from
Phoenix,
that
Arizona,
area,
maybe all the way over
especially
to
if you're in
Albuquerque, let us know in the chat.
from
Did
the
you
US,
catch
maybe
any
even
information?
Mexico and
Did
whatnot.
you
I
catch any
hope
shots
I hope
of
you guys
that
are
launch?
able to witness the launch because this is pretty interesting. You know,
And I think we
sometimes
just
it
heard
can
the
be a
LOS
little bit
there.
like jellyfish if the
And
conditions
tag us on social media
and
if
the
you
time
did.
is right, especially on the twilight. On the twilight stuff, it's not to be confused with the twilight
All
movies
right.
and whatnot.
So, folks, that is the views that we are able to share, that we have, because we're now in that comms blackout. And as we discussed earlier, because of the long delay before we're expected to get that signal back, then the priority order of downloading the data, getting the telemetry first, and then
And good
getting
news
any
is that
video
drop
that's able to
frames
come
for
down
me
of
is
payload
pretty
deploy.
good.
That's
Just
not going
only
to happen for almost
41
another
or
hour,
0.4%
hour
of
and
this
20 minutes. So we
entire
will not plan to
stream
stay
duration.
live through that. But as a quick reminder, you can keep up with what the mission status is by following along on social media.
So that's all.
Best place might be the Firefly main website, where you can find all the social media accounts. But expect updates as to the mission status after we get the folks here in Mission Control assessing the data that came down before that, and then getting any data that comes down after the comms blackout ends in another 25 minutes or so.
Oh, that's pretty long. 25 minutes blackout. Wow. So which means we need to stay a little bit here. And after that, I'll be able to take a rest.
We're going to stand by for just a few more minutes to see if we have any updates for you.
Oh, okay. Looks like they have chatted a little bit. Maybe they have update. And
All
yeah.
right. The big thing here is the data coming down. The team's reviewing the data that came down on the rocket, and
yeah,
I think our best possibility here is to
what do I
start
want to say is that
wrapping up and
look
have
at
y'all
the-
give you the good
look
information
at
on
the
how to find on
schedule,
social
especially,
media and on Firefly's
my-
website further mission updates.
my timetable.
Firefly's going to
I'll
provide
say
an update on payload
I'll
deployment
say
within the next couple
maybe
of
I
hours.
cannot
So stay tuned on
very
X,
likely
the
I
website, etc.,
cannot
etc.
swim
Now,
the
looking
Shenzhou 19
ahead, there's a lot
touchdown and
happening for
ending.
Firefly through the
Yeah,
rest of the year, isn't there,
unfortunately.
Morgan?
Yeah, we have a
But
ton happening.
however, I
for the
will
remainder of the
replace
year,
it
so
with
Flight
one
6,
another
check mark, we're going to
exciting
be
one,
continuing to
equally
work with our
exciting,
customer on
or
that
maybe
for the
slightly
next
boring.
couple hours.
But let's
And
just
then
consider
Alpha
that
Flight 7
more
is
like
coming
an
up pretty
endurance
quick with
for
Lockheed
me.
Martin's
I mean,
TACSAT in
if
the
the
next couple months.
astronauts doing their
So
job
that'll be a
in
dedicated
ISS
mission
for the
again for
US
Lockheed
spacewalk
Martin
number
on Flight 7. We also
22
have
or 23,
Victus Haze.
basically I have
mission
to
coming
follow
up
them
soon.
for like
Alpha will
what,
be launching another U.S.
6
Space
plus
Force
hours straight,
responsive
6
space mission.
hours and
So
35
kind of a
minutes, if
follow-on
I
of
remember
Victus
correctly,
Nox.
for
Victus Nox
the
was our
whole
flight
duration of the
3
EVA,
for Alpha,
the
and it was
extravehicular
a
activities
rapid response.
outside
You get a call and you have to
egressing
launch or
the
be prepared to launch within 24
International
hours.
Space Station,
So Victus
or
Haze is kind of
basically
a
another way
follow-on
to
that.
say is going
We also
outside
have
the
Elytra Mission 1
International
coming up
Space Station.
pretty quick.
So,
So our first
I have it.
on-orbit Elytra mission will be later on this year.
oh,
Blue
the
Ghost Mission 2,
Elytra.
which I
Yeah,
already
Elytra. This is
Oh,
a
yeah.
message
Let's see
in
if I can move it
in a
without-
payload, if I remember
The
correctly,
duck.
the name,
without the duck.
or
But yes.
message in the satellite, if I remember
Bright spot,
correctly.
maybe.
The name.
That's a
Yeah,
lot.
so that's
that
that.
one up.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I
hold
can,
that
yeah.
one
I
up.
might
Yeah,
cannot
so Blue Ghost Mission
really
2 will be
Shenzhou.
launching
So if you
VGM2
see
as
it
early as
unlisted,
2026.
Right.
no worries, I will
This one
keep
will
it
be
for the
going to the
Shenzhou
far side
20
of the moon,
using
and
the
it will
same
also
engine.
include operation in lunar orbit with Elytra. So
Oh.
yeah, we're making really good progress
This
on
is the
manufacturing and
Blue
tests
Ghost
right now
lunar lander.
for BGM2.
Right.
And not only with Blue Ghost, Elytra, Alpha, all of that going on, we're still making, crazy headway with MLV. So MLV's neck deep in, our qualification and flight builds. We're going to be testing that pretty quick. So yeah, it's just kind of all coming to a head.
We had Miles Gray on the show yesterday talking through some of the MLV progress. MLV is the medium launch vehicle,
Yes.
much larger than Alpha, that is currently in
MLV,
production.
medium
there are
launch vehicle.
segments, there are
I don't know why they
engine
want
mount
to name it
areas, the
two
main
gen.
tanks
It's
are
like
being, or the
calling
qualification tanks
the
are being
launch
made.
vehicle,
Yeah.
especially
Out there,
the
Briggs.
ISO
It's
try
kind
to
of
call
crazy
it
because
launch vehicle
MLV
mark
is a lot of what I've been working on,
but
specifically
in
in
this case,
Chinese, obviously.
LVM3
And it's
launch vehicle Mark
kind
II
of
to
hilarious to
distinguish
launch
it
through
to
building
the
6 and you
GSLV
see
launch vehicle,
Alpha, which
which is
you get used
GSLV
to a
Mark
6 foot
1
diameter
and
rocket. It's pretty big, and
GSLV
then
Mark II.
you look
Yeah,
to your
and
left and you
launch
look up
vehicle
at MLV. It's
Mark
like
III,
about 40 feet
LVM3
diameter
used
rocket.
to
It's so
be
much
called as
bigger. It almost makes Alpha look like a
GSLV
toy.
Mark,
Right.
So yeah, it's
which
definitely a
GSLV
big
stands
step
for
up.
It's a
geosynchronous
totally
launch
different ball
vehicle.
game. But folks, that is going to end our
That's it.
live coverage for
So that's
today.
it.
We actually,
Oh,
if you want to
so-
keep up and show your pride for the mission, we've got a couple things over in the merch store. The mission patch, it's actually
The
got the
mission is
message
coming
in the
to
booster.
the end. Oh
there,
no.
it makes it 6.
It does make
The
sense.
launch
Flight 6
stream is
of
coming
Alpha.
to the end.
There's some T-shirts and stuff like that as well.
So it looks like we have to get
I've had one here
update,
that has
but
been delivered
don't
to
worry
me.
about that.
But
I will
if you
try
want to
to
check out that, head over to fireflymerch.com.
Yeah.
Morgan,
try
it is
to
always a pleasure to be on the broadcast with
maybe
you.
Yeah,
skip
thanks for
back
having me. These are a blast.
or read
Excellent,
it
folks.
back.
Morgan's the real deal. Like, we do some
if there's
rehearsals
any
mostly to
update,
make sure the
so
tech
we'll
is
see.
working. But during our
So, thank you
rehearsal,
so
she's
much.
like talking about rockets
for
over
your
on the
time.
laptop,
Even though
doing
there's
like
not
CAD
many people here,
updates
but
for work.
thanks for your
She's like
time.
never stopping working. So it's fantastic having your expertise here on the broadcast, Morgan.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah,
Good
I
deal.
love what I do.
All right, like we promised, we've got those launch replays, and stay tuned on social media for further
Okay,
mission
ready for
status
the launch
updates,
replay? I will
including any
open
downlink of
next
video that may come.
So you're
But for
able
now,
to see?
we really do appreciate y'all watching and joining us this morning for launch 6 of Firefly's Alpha rocket. Here come the replays, and we will see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.
Alright, so ready? This is the replay. Okay, so this is the launch replay from the launch pad. Before launch of these 16 minutes and 33 seconds ago. This is it. Okay. Oh no, the set. Shit. There should be another one. You can just one view. Okay. And this one is another one. Okay, that's all. Just one. Okay, this one is another one. Yeah, good. This one is the replay. Almost 70 minutes ago, the liftoff of the Firefly Alpha rockets carrying the LM400 tech depth satellite for the Lockheed Martin. So yeah, like, it's really exciting. So thank you NASA Space for hosting this live for the Firefly Alpha rockets for the Firefly Aerospace, and thank you to the Space Affairs for bringing this back. Otherwise, going to kill my my cellular internet bandwidth pretty hard, especially the big bandwidth go kill pretty hard. So because of that, I'm able to bring this cap to the 30 frames per second. I mean, not like there's much else to say about 60 there. This is 30 FPS imagery, so this is huge savings. Okay, and this one is another view. You can see this is the water deluge system, or another way to say is the water garden system to suppress the sound of the launch vehicle and ensure the integrity of the launch pad. That's why they introduced the water system, the water garden system. I mean, literally almost all rockets from what I see launches actually have this system. And this one you can see is whatever it connects. So this is it, Firefly Aerospace 1. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And for this, once again, I can tell you. Oh, I forgot. I should. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Not much else I can say because we are at the end of our stream. But don't worry, I will try to do this stream. This one is pretty can be considered as the most considered as the endurance stream of mine. Okay, I'm going to breath myself in, going to watch and give you the live coverage for the US spacewalk number 93 or 90. Okay, which is going to be around 6 hours and 35 seconds for the extravehicular activities, basically going outside of the International Space Station, egressing the space station, so we are able to follow whatever humans needed, especially if I remember the IROSA or something like that. So that's it. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Now I'm going with my usual second. So this is me, Daniel Suguwa, signing out, and very much story. We are going to watch that Shinjo 19 touchdown and landing, conflicting with my timetable. But however, it's still good, I guess. I will keep it for the Shinjo 20 later. So that's it. Bye bye, everyone. Take care. Okay, and there's not much else you want to see on the BTS, this behind the screen or behind the scene. Not much else. What do you want to see, right? And I don't even have any idea. If I have ideas, I will just go and talk right now. But that's it. See ya later. Bye bye and take care. Yeah.